Like that.
Okay, Robert, we are here in Paris at Le Web, where we've just heard that you are leaving Podtech.
Yeah.
This is the first interview you've given. We're very honored to have the first interview on this blog.
Thank you.
Why are you leaving? What are you going to do? What's the future hold?
Well, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to either run my own company, or I'm going to go to Fast Company and run Fast Company TV. I'm heading toward Fast Company TV, so we'll see how that works out. I don't have the signed deal yet, so I can't say.
Tell me about Fast Company TV. What is it?
I'm working as a columnist for Fast Company, and we just kept talking, and it's like, well, why don't I do a TV network for you, right? I'm already interviewing 200 or 300 CEOs a year about how they're innovating and how they're doing interesting things. Why don't we scale that up and make it an interesting channel, right? But yeah, so I mean, there's the possibilities are endless. So now I'm having all sorts of creative storms about what that means. You know, Scoble shows just one small piece of what a Fast Company TV network could be. You know, and so we could have, you know, Calmness do video. We could have, you know, the famous cover story do an interview. You know, so like Steve Jobs is on the cover this month. You know, so we could do all sorts of interesting content, a lot more interesting than this interview for sure.
So, and why you think it's a better platform than Podtech for you?
Well, yeah, Podtech was moving away from content and more into advertising and more into advertorial, and that was away from where I wanted to go, which is social networking. What's really happening is the media. I mean, your interview here is a good example of what's happening. You're using a fairly low-cost cell phone to do this interview, and the cell phone could also be streaming live over the internet right now, and people could actually be asking you questions over the internet. So the conversation could be two-way with the audience and could be streaming for very little cost. Certainly low cost compared to even, you know, what a professional camera would be, and it lets you do different kinds of video. And now that everybody is getting a cell phone like this, you can create new kinds of networks that are going to have a different conversation. I mean, we were just talking to the PR director for the World Economic Forum, and he was saying, well, we're going to pose this question to the world where everybody can answer this question and participate in this conversation. That's what I hope to aim for with this new network.
So in other words, it's not just you moving to a different thing. What you're trying to do is launch technically something new and something different. It sounds like more a two-way interactive TV.
And live streaming, because the live streaming networks have just come out this year and are getting more and more mature. For instance, there was Justin TV and Ustream and Operator 11, and now there's Mogulus, and Mogulus really opened my eyes. Said, "Man, there's something."
Tell me
new.
about Mogulus.
Well, Mogulus is a streaming TV system, a video system. So I can turn on my cell phone or I can turn on my laptop computer and start talking, and people around the world can watch. Right? But Mogulus also lets me use multiple cameras, so I can have different correspondents around the world. So you're in Hong Kong a lot. I could call you up and say, "Hey, can we do a little video on what's happening in Hong Kong?" and call you in and actually switch to you like a real TV station does. And so now I can have some workflow around a 24-hour-a-day live streaming video station, which
is this
really
CNN 2.0?
Yeah, only different, right? Why do we need to copy CNN? There's already a CNN. Now, you know, there's lots of opportunity that for content that hasn't gotten past the committees that run big TV stations, but because of the low cost of this stuff, I can create new content that goes into new areas, and I don't need to clone CNN. CNN's already done. That's there, right? Everybody knows where it is, and it's done very well, and I can't compete with that. Certainly not with a cell phone. But now I can, you know, certainly a lot of CEOs and a lot of companies don't get any coverage in video today. So now I can show up with you know, maybe a nice camera like this, but maybe a cell phone, and I can get them coverage in a way that's very low cost and very quick and very two-way. So now an audience can ask the CEO.
So we know that we're doing this video interview at a certain time.
Yep.
Log on if you want. If not, you can always look at this on the web later.
Well, look at,
and we'll have richer content for the fact that we're having those interviews.
Yeah, I was in the Google MySpace press conference. I had the only video up because I had a cell phone. They actually asked me to leave my big camera in the car because they didn't want they didn't want it to be seen as a video press conference, right? So they didn't want professional cameras in there. But after the press conference, I pull out my video camera and do a little interview like this, and and get it up. I also, during the press conference, had Twitter going, so I had thousands of people writing questions to me about the press conference because they were hearing about it live, and so now I can bring people in, and I can actually, during the press conference, I was saying, hey, Dave Weiner on Twitter just asked this question, can you answer it, and I'll tell him what the answer is. That made it a lot more, interesting, because the bigger the audience is, the more diverse viewpoints are going to come out, and the more interesting the questions are going to get, because I don't know everything. My audience knows a lot more than I do. Even if I was really brilliant and really rich and really educated, my audience is still going to know more than I do, because they're more connected and there's more of them, right? And there's people from diverse viewpoints and diverse lifestyles and diverse...
It's sort of a crowdsourced interview,
yes,
where instead of being the journalist who calls over to, I'm a newspaper journalist, before I go to an interview, I always call the rivals of the company I'm going to interview.
Yeah.
Instead, you're getting that in real time on the bottom of the screen as you're doing the interview.
Yes.
So it sounds like what your plans are, possibly go to Fast Company TV, but whatever you're doing, go to something that is going to allow you to execute this new style of TV.
Absolutely.
So it's sort of a step beyond what the kind of video you're doing right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Much more interactive and much more live and much more connected with Twitter. I mean, you're certainly in the last 2 months, we saw the birth of another company called Seismic, which lets me do video that's a conversation, and we can be talking back and forth with an audience doesn't look at themselves as an audience. They look at themselves as participants, right? And each time I post a video, it goes into Twitter and tells my Twitter audience I just posted a video, and they get brought into the conversation, through this new two-way media, which is different than TV, right?
Excellent. Okay, so on to something that is more different than TV.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Why copy what's already been done? Why not have some fun and do something different?
Excellent. Okay. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.